Good evening, faithful. I thought I was going to kick TJ out, but I guess we can keep his pretty face on stage. How's everybody doing this evening? How's it going, brother? How you doing, my man?
You know, any day you wake up is a legendary day. It was a rough one at work today. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
oh,
man.
by the way, I officially found out when we got to work and we were fucking swamped, dude. So, for those who don't know, I work at Noah's Bagels.
Shout out Noah's Bagels.
We literally had 4 bagels at the end of the day.
Damn.
4 bagels. I actually took them all home. Like, I walked in after taking out the trash. Like, I mean, I didn't take out the trash at the end of the day. I texted my girl, like, babe, you might have to come pick me up. Like, I don't know what time.
You got your ass kicked today is what you're saying.
Woo. And I came and walked in the trash, and I did not feel like dumping the bagels. So I was like, whoop, whoop, whoop. Threw all 4 of them in the bag. Said, cool, I'm taking them home. But wanted bagels today anyway. So, Jason, I'll let you start off with your drink.
My drink is pretty simple. I have actually a shit ton of fucking what is this? Fireball left over. So I've got some of the shots of Fireball. I've still got like half a party case. I don't know if can you see it over my head. No, my seat's blocking it. It's a bucket. It's about that big. It just comes with a ton of fucking shots of Fireball in there. Threw in some apple juice. It's halfway to a apple pie kind of thing. I'm almost doing it, but I was like, screw it. I'll just do something simple this week. What you got?
I mean, I feel like so boring because I come in here pretty much the same drink every week. I just got a let me see, clearance from It's a Wonderful Life came up on the Cowboys. I got it's a little twist. You can't really see it, but
Damien,
you can a little bit. But what's cracking, Damien? The gold swirls in there, but it's just simply my version of what's cracking, David McNiner. Hold on.
I got it.
Okay.
So long. Steve-O, how's it doing, brother?
Just a Shirley Temple. I got an ounce of simple syrup, a half ounce of grenadine.
MD 2020. I can't do MD 2020.
Hey, man, that's taking me.
Look,
last time I had an MD, I ended up with a felony at the end of the night. So
look, man, like they came out with a new flavor of Mad Dog like 2-3 years ago. One thing was like tropical mango or something like that. And I'm like, oh, you know, I ain't had some Mad Dog in about 20 years. Let me have some Mad Dog for the first time in forever. So I chugged that bottle. I woke up the next morning and was like, and this is why we no longer drink Mad Dog. Like at 40 years old, I cannot handle some Mad Dog 20. You know what? It doesn't actually stand for Mad Dog. It actually stands for something else.
Yeah, I don't even know what it stands for, but yeah, everybody just calls it Mad Dog. I don't know.
Yeah, I forget what it actually. I'm looking it up real quick. Morgan David, not Mad Dog. I didn't find that out until about 2 or 3 weeks, or months ago. I was like, what? I've been calling it from Mad Dog for like 40 years, and it's something completely else. Something completely else. But yeah, so all I've got tonight is some Fireball and some apple juice.
And then I just added some gold flakes into it to try to give it a little red and gold flair. Ended up making it look on camera. At least made it look
on camera, it looks orange. Looks like you've got some orange with like the orange innards in it and stuff like that. All right.
Yeah, but
shout out to Police Siren Noises. Nice. Carcast in the house. How's it going, brother?
Carcast.
John LaJoy. How's it going, brother?
What's up, John? How you doing, bro?
This is not the Friday night show. I think the one you're talking about, Carcast, is the Friday variety night show. Me and TJ or me and Jamie have been doing a Friday night show for what, 2-3 years now?
2020, I believe, is when we started.
Something like that. And then Brian and those guys, I think, started their stuff, and we've kind of rolled into theirs. But you know what? We still have not hit the intro, so I'm going to hit the intro as soon as I can find it.
Yeah, and share it on the page. Yeah,
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
We need to learn to cut that one off a little bit early.
Yeah, you know what? The problem is that if this y'all don't really know this, but I do a lot of while the intros are playing, I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, like pin the show on the page, do all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And if anything happens, like there's any type of delay or anything, it throws everything off. But yeah, honestly, really what it is I'm lazy and I don't really test these intros. I kind of just.
Well, it's good. It's just that we have like 30 seconds of like dead air on it.
Yeah, no.
And I always forget to click out of it.
Yeah, it definitely could be improved, and it's a work in progress. And let's be real, we're kind of balling on the budget here. So
there's a budget.
Yeah,
a budget means there's money.
I know, right? For real. But anyway, yeah. So still doing the face. If y'all can't tell, I'm definitely stalling.
Are you gonna do the pay the bill stuff?
Yeah. No, go ahead and do your pull up the first slide, Jason. Or actually, before we get started this week, I really wanted to post something to you.
Bring it.
Shanahan, like, I don't know, did you get a chance to listen to Espresso today?
No, I did not.
Dude, he was real testy with the media. It actually got almost awkward enough. Like I had to like kind of pause it and let the cringe, because I'm not really good at awkward, attention type of situations. So
I think the stress is finally getting to him.
I mean, and then that injury report, which of course we'll get into and we'll discuss. How much for a man who signed
Alberto
gang a man who signed an extension that they still hadn't said how many years.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm curious what's going on because you announced an extension, right? That apparently was signed before week 1. You wait until basically after the Thursday night, right? Thursday night game they announced it?
Yep. It was either like right after or Friday morning. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but they released it. They wait a couple weeks to release it. You won't say it. John Lynch gets promoted to adds vice president of football operations to his title, which you and I have been talking about for years. It's essentially a way to keep Adam Peters and John Lynch both in the organization. Eventually, I see John Lynch just dropping the GM title and Adam Peters is going to slide into GM. I asked you before the season what it would take for Shanahan to be on the hot seat. I think you and I both agreed that there was nothing he could essentially really do this season that would cost him his job this year. But do you think there's been because to me, I think he's panicked because I think he doesn't have the answers. And for the first time that we don't have the answers because everybody's saying it's always good when you're not, of course, brother. Everybody's been saying how, fire Steve Wilkes for who? For whom? And if you're going to fire
the season,
yeah, and you're going to fire Steve Wilkes, obviously it means you promote somebody within the organization. So why wasn't this person promoted from within the organization? Because if Steve Wilkes doesn't work out, I'm going to put my finger more at Shanahan. Because saying that you could have not known, there's no way that you could have known that D'Amico was going to be a head coaching candidate. There's no way you could have known that. So to not have a backup plan, to not have at least something, I don't necessarily care who it was, but I feel like this is almost like a hire that we did out of desperation, and because who else were we going to bring in? And I think if we keep him, it's going to be who are we going to get? I don't know what your thoughts are of this whole situation. Just seems a little weird.
Well, I do think he's being testy in general because I think this is the first time we've seen where even when we've lost before, there's been other things where like we'll get it back. We'll be okay. There's not so much of that right now. Everybody, we are one step. Should we lose on Sunday, we are one step away from everybody hitting the panic button, jumping off the side of the bridge, the cliff,
Shit,
whatever.
I
I
think
think
there's some people that will do it if we lose Sunday.
that's what I'm talking about. Like if we
Yeah.
lose Sunday, I think this fan base goes into a free fall when it comes to panicking because we have now lost 4 in a row. So yeah,
The only game the rest of the year that you can lose after this one that wouldn't affect some type of NFC standing is the
Ravens.
Baltimore game.
Yeah.
Literally every other game is an NFC game. So you've essentially, and it's kind of like what I talked to you about when we were talking last year about the Super Bowl. What was it, like a 15 game winning streak or a 16 we would have had to go on to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Like it was just like come on, bro. Can you really win that many games in a row? It's you've started to kiss your Aaron margin for error bye-bye. And that feels a little frustrating because the only game that I really felt, the game I felt that out of this losing streak that hurted us the most was Minnesota. And the reason that hurt me the most is because I told my girl, I said, look, I feel confident because we've seen this movie before. Kirk Cousins can't move. Our pass rush overwhelms him. Like we've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
And when it didn't look like that, and essentially made Kirk Cousins look like a top 5 quarterback, that's a little concerning. Because even in 20, when we've gone through similar situations, 21, you could blame it on injuries. But really, who's hurt? Like, fine, Javon Hargrave just popped in. Drake Jackson. What's up, Miss Veronica? How you doing? Drake Jackson,
Veronica,
etc., etc. But Debo, who's back, he didn't even list him on the injury report today.
BC.
Yeah, by the way, people, please subscribe and hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. So really, essentially, everything falls to shit when you lose Trent Williams and Debo. That's a little concerning with the team that still has George Kittle, still has CMC, still has Aaron Banks, at least last week.
Yeah.
I think God knows what's going on with Trent. It just doesn't feel like the whole refreshed, ready to go after the bye week get to the injury report, Jason. And it doesn't sound like a injury report coming out of the bye week.
No, it's quite a long one. But there's some names on there that haven't been there before. So that's where it gets a little bit interesting.
And let's be real. If you listen to what Kyle said about Trent's injuries, he said basically he's had this injury before. This is issues that he's having. He's had in the past.
Is that the one where he was like, it's not a high ankle sprain, but it's not a low ankle sprain? That was a mid ankles.
Basically, what it sounds like is this is some shit that look, I don't believe Trent Williams was 100% when he came back last year.
Oh, no, we knew that, though. That was pretty much an obvious one.
And, you even look at the year before that, in 21, when he basically said, truthfully, honestly, Colton McKivitz probably would have been better suited for the team to suit up in the NFC Championship game. Well, What was it? Ankle. What did he hurt last year? Ankle. What is it this year? Ankle.
Yeah.
This is clearly something that they're really concerned because this is something that's not going to go. This has something that doesn't have the potential to go away in a few weeks because this is going to be the 4th week, including the bye week that he's missed. So at this point, you might as well put him on IR.
So I'm wondering, as a fellow big man like Trent, and
Yeah.
obviously I'm nowhere in the shape as Trent. I tore my same ACL twice. That ankle hurts itself constantly. Just me at the gym. Like I hurt myself this week at the gym. Um, so I'm wondering, why can't we just tape the shit out of it? You know what I mean? Because like when I go to the gym now, for the most part, I got to put on my ankle brace and stuff like that. So how bad is it to where if you have professional trainers and everything like that, to where like again, is it how bad is it where you just can't tape it up and call it good for a game to where it's still constantly um being an issue? And
I mean,
David McNiner, I am left-handed and right-footed, so I feel you on that, brother.
so I mean, and from what I don't know if it was Barrows or Mayoko, but it was one of the Matt said today. It didn't even look like Trent was close to coming ready this week.
Miss Teresa,
So,
how's it?
Miss Teresa, how you doing? So, I mean, we're getting into the nuts and bolts of this season. I mean, look, we essentially know after the Tampa Bay game, basically it's go time. I mean,
It's go time now.
Well, it's go time now, but after it starts to get into games where like that those two the sandwich games, the Chicago game sandwiched between the Eagles games. Do we have to win all three, bruh? I'm really starting to think, do we have to win all three of those games?
It's looking more and more like it, especially
what's
going on tonight or on Sunday.
We lose on Sunday. You can't, because the Eagles, and especially this week, you have to take advantage of it because the Eagles are on a bye week. There was one other team that was on a bye week this week. That was it, Detroit? Hold on, let me see.
Well, let's pull it up.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Laura Cat in the house, thank you for showing up.
We're in week 10.
Indeed.
Kansas City,
for Veronica,
Rams,
happy Veterans
Miami.
Day to anybody who did serve. And
yes.
for those of you who don't know the difference, I had to actually talk to people at work about this. Veterans Day is not the same as Memorial Day. Veterans Day is where you celebrate everybody who has served. Memorial Day is where you celebrate those who have passed while they serve. So it's kind of funny how people don't realize the difference on that yet.
Yeah. Definitely. I did not realize that's what I was getting to when I was talking to work. I did not realize it was today. Just my mind's been so fried. But yes, also definitely don't like to get too political on the show. I remember when we were in the second Iraq War. I remember my school had a program that we could write to soldier. We could write to this soldier who went to Andrew Hill. And so I wrote a letter to her, and I told her, I said, look, basically to sum up the letter, I said, I might be against this war. I don't understand why we're essentially fighting the same shit my stepdad fought. You feel me? But just because I'm anti this war does not ever mean any percent that I'm an anti-soldier. I appreciate every man and woman that have served in this country. And I tell my girl all the time, Americans don't understand how lucky we are that we don't live in a country that, like, for example, not to get political, but Israel, in Palestine, right? Whatever you want to call it right now. Like, I had classmates in school. I had this classmate that came from Bosnia. Like, he had seen buildings blow up before. Like, legit, like chilling in the middle of the night and the building a few blocks away from you blows up. He lost his mom and his dad, or his dad and his grandpa, or something like that. So we definitely live in a beautiful country that none of us have ever really seen buildings blow up or things like that in our lifetime, or not many of us have. And it's definitely because of the men and women who serve our country. Because let's be real, nobody wants any. They don't want the smoke. And so thank you. I tip my cap to y'all. Thank y'all, every one of y'all, for your service.
I want to say the answer to this is this is the armistice day from World War One, if I believe. I don't think it was
Okay, so
two.
then
I
the
want to
live
say it was
version.
one.
No, I believe, isn't it when we World War II ended?
One. I think it was one. I don't think it was
Okay,
two.
it was one.
So I'm sure Teresa will let us know. So we'll go back to the
Yeah.
schedule. So we got the Vikings, the Jaguars this week, which, like you said, we only have this one and one more AFC team left. Then we got the Bucks, and then we go on our Ovarian tour, aka the Bird Tour, where
Yeah.
we've got the Seahawks, Eagles, Seahawks, Cardinals, then the Ravens. Finally, the last game of the year, we got a non-bird team
Yeah.
in the Commanders.
And then Yams to finish it off in
Yep.
a game that a game that honestly probably isn't really going to matter. At least we hope it doesn't.
Yeah. Hopefully, that's a everybody's been seated and we can almost rest
Yeah.
people depending on how things are going.
Exactly. The right score at halftime or something like that
Chiefs,
gets us,
Dolphins,
a
Eagles, and
chance.
Lambs are on bye this week. Okay,
Bye
so
week
David's got
because I believe besides the Eagles, that's really the only team that we're chasing that's coming off a bye.
Do you think we can realistically get the 1 seed at this point? Because I don't. The way Philly's playing, I don't see it.
And see, that's what pisses me off because honestly, I think we're going to beat them. I do. I think if this is the football team that wants to compete for the 1 seed, that wants to be a champ, if that's truly what we are this year, I think we beat them. But the problem is you need them to lose another game, possibly 2, depending on what the hell happens between now
2
and
to 3
December
more.
3rd.
Yeah.
It's good. I ultimately think it's not gonna happen. I think ultimately what's gonna suck about it is we're gonna beat them, but ultimately we're not gonna be tied with them for it to matter. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Gonna,
yeah. Okay. She was just kidding. I was like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?"
Woo! I'm an engaged man. I cannot touch that one with a 49 football. Especially somebody. Anyway, get myself in trouble. So it's who do the Eagles have?
Okay, let me pull up the Eagles schedule.
Can we pass Detroit for the 2 seed?
Say that again because I don't believe you just said that.
I mean, fucking A. I might have to avoid my mama during playoff time. Like,
speaking of mamas, I would like to wish Mama Debbie, the patriarch of the faithful, a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mama. I can't believe I always talk to her and everything like that. It was funny. I had posted, she said that, for my birthday this year, I want everybody to post their favorite picture of me with them and a quote. And I usually do the Jerry Rice quote, but I was like, I'm going to do a different quote this year, Mama. And I was like, my newest picture with you is my favorite picture. And I posted the newest picture we had from the Ladies of the Empire dinner. And stuff. So yeah, happy birthday, Mama. In 2 years, in 1 year. Next year, I think the Niners will hopefully play on her birthday. That'd be kind of dope.
So the Eagles kind of got a little bit of a gauntlet. They've got Kansas City, then Buffalo, us, Dallas, and then Seattle. So that's a little bit of a gauntlet they've got going on right now for themselves. Then they got the Giants, the Cardinals, and wow. That's a weird way to end the season. Giants, Cardinals, Giants. That's weird that they're ending it like that.
And it's 2 home games and then going to New York. And that's the way they end the year.
Yeah. It's kind of definitely weird.
So go back. So you're basically having to hope they lose to Buffalo or Kansas City.
Then us.
They're gonna have to basically lose to Buffalo, Kansas City, or us, because we can't have them, as much as it would benefit us. We can't have them losing to the Seahawks, because Lord knows what the division's going to be like.
Yeah. Same thing with the Cardinals. I mean, well, the Cardinals are probably going to be out of it by then, but still.
They're 1-8. They're going to be.
Oh yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah, never mind by then. But the Giants, you'd almost think you'd want the Giants to beat them twice.
Yeah, but is that going to happen?
No.
How bad has this, Jason? I don't want to think that the Niners, the most realistic way we're going to end the quest for 6 has to rely on the Giants beating the Eagles 1 out of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't want to possibly think about that. So basically, the 1 seed's going to come down to them losing to Buffalo and or Kansas City, and then losing us. So they essentially have to lose 2 out of 3 or 3 in a row. Then I think that we have a real legit shot at the 1 seed. If they beat both of those teams, shit. Besides us, they might not lose another game all year.
Yeah, it'll be rough the rest of the way.
That's going to be real rough. But you know what? It almost seems poetic that if we're going to win the NFC and end the quest for 6, it almost seems poetic that it has to be on that field. No?
Yeah.
And I mean, even then, I don't like so we got to beat the Eagles in Philadelphia twice.
Yeah,
no one said it would be easy. No one said it would be easy. Shit.
Yeah.
And the thing that's worrisome about Philly is, from what I've heard of other people, they're a little banged up, but they're still winning.
They're still finding ways to win. Whereas right now we are having an issue finding that way. They are finding that way. The tush push is going great for them.
Yeah, until Jalen Hurts gets rocked like Brock.
Yeah, but they seem to do a better job of protecting him when they do. Like, we're not a tush push kind of a team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they kind of protect. They almost go over the back of Hurts a little bit to kind of protect him from that. So, all right, should we get into the second half?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Get into the second half of the show.
All right. So what we have is the hair game. Who has the better hair, Sunshine or George Kittle?
You know what? I love Kittle Corn, but I like his hair. Like,
look greasy.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, bro, like, I love Kittle Corn, but his hair always looks a little raunchy, bro. Like Trevor Lawrence has definitely got the sunshine, flowing locks of hair.
He uses what the hell is that shampoo?
Garnier Fructis.
Yes, Garnier Fructis. He uses high end.
Yeah.
Look at it. It's pretty.
Yeah, like George Kittle is like the type of, like, he just uses whatever shampoo. He just happens to grow his hair long.
He uses the same shampoo he washes his body with. Like, he's that kind of guy. I'm just that kind of guy.
Invests in his hair.
He uses conditioner. Trevor Lawrence uses conditioner.
I use conditioner.
But you know what I mean? It's like George is like, whatever. This is the same stuff. This is the same oil that I put in my car. You know, what's the joke that, a guy's, it's body wash, car oil, car wax, hair cleaner. You know what I mean? It's all the same thing in one bottle. Laura likes Chase Young's long hair, Goldilocks hair.
You know what? I might grow some dreads for you. Anyway,
you know what's funny is that growing up, like, even though if you look at my hair, it's completely like, I look like I've got one hell of a receding hairline. My hair for the longest time looked like Kittle's because I used to bleach it. Like, I used to bleach everything blonde, or or what did I have it, like a magma red, to where it was like that bright orange / red color for the longest time. But I used to have hair just like Kittle for the longest time.
Yeah,
I know you look at me like, now you're like, no way. Yeah, it was weird. I went through a weird emo phase.
Oh, bro, you don't even want to know. Like, I couldn't find the picture of it on Facebook, and I'm a little bit glad that nobody can see my little goth My goth photo I have.
I bet you my wife has pictures. I might put them up one day. They're terrible.
God, so scary.
All right.
Uh,
All right. So next we have transactions. However, while I was saying about this, obviously we had the big transactions last week with, Chase Young coming over, Dennis Bird. There is one transaction, one movement that has happened that we have not talked about. That it is confirmed that Steve Wilkes is coming down from the
yes.
booth to be on the sideline.
Yeah.
And I think both of us have pretty much said it's not that we don't think it can help, but there's so much more wrong than just a simple move down there. Because Steve Wilkes is not that rah kind of guy. And I'm
Yes.
sorry. And I know communication could be an issue, but how hard is it to pick up the phone and talk straight to Steve Wilkes? So to me, that communication issue is not as important. It's like you can pick up a phone at any point and call him and be like, hey, this is what's going on the field. We need to change this. So what's the difference between telling him on the phone that versus him on the sideline? That's what I don't understand, why everybody thinks that's going to be a huge difference.
And I feel a little frustrated because if we go pitch a shutout this week, the defense looks the way it does. We win 42-0. Everybody's going to talk about the miracle. And it'll go down as Niner lore as a thing that tell a friend to be a sub and friend. Yes, please do. If we go on with the Super Bowl and this is going to be the thing that changed the year and everything, and ultimately, I think they're doing it because they have nothing else to fucking do. Because if they had anything else to do, then they would have done it. So
I feel like the players went to, like Fred, for instance, went to Kyle and said, "This is what I want." For whatever reason, because that, if Wilkes on the sideline isn't going to make you miss 35 tackles in the last 2 games, but different conversation. Yeah. So I have a feeling this is what some of the players wanted versus how Steve Wilkes typically would call or something like that.
I feel like when I heard it and everything, and now that I see how testy Kyle is, in the presser today and everything like that, this is what I was saying early when I was like, I don't think he has answers. Because if he had an answer that wasn't Steve Wilkes moving to the booth, do you think Steve Wilkes would be moving from the booth? No. If I just feel like they feel they have to do something. And it could be an adjustment. It could literally be as simple as trading for Chase Young that saves the season. But this will be looked at
as it.
And then also what worries me more, and what I have to say to the faithful now is, okay, and if we give up 42 this week or 35,
then what?
Then the fuck do we do?
Yeah, you pulled your trump card by pulling the man out of the box for whatever reason.
Then what do? You can't fire him. If they fire him, I'll be shocked.
Berto, stop. I don't know if you've read about the Josh Daniels locker room meeting that the Raiders had.
So what was the locker room meeting?
So you know how bad the Raiders are.
Yeah.
So apparently they had a team meeting where they let the players basically just go at Josh Daniels. They just pretty much said anything they wanted. Josh Daniels was so freaking struck by what they were basically told him, you're doing a shit job and you're a horrible coach. He couldn't even speak up for himself. That's how shook he was. So I don't think the players would do that to Kyle. But Josh McDaniels is a terrible coach.
Sneaky, one of the greatest things that ever happened to the Niners was Josh McDaniels basically saying
not being hired. Yeah, man.
Because we wanted Josh McDaniels.
I did. I pushed for him. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, and it was that might be one of the greatest things that has never happened to this franchise.
I'm so glad I was horribly wrong on that.
Now I think it'd be a little bit more prepared, but for the shit show after Tom Sula and Chip Kelly, after that shit show, and then you go through this.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And you think he would have learned after his last time with the Broncos? but he's even worse of a coach. It's like, how are you worse? Like, I understand you get your first coaching job, you suck at it, or your head coaching job. I get it. You suck at it. You're not completely ready for it. Blah blah blah. You get a
I mean,
second.
look
You
at
went
Andy
back to
Reid.
New England. I'm sorry.
Look at Andy Reid.
Yeah,
With the Eagles, how many
but he
shots
was.
cracks did he? It was how many
Yeah, but he
cracks
was
did
a
he
good
legitimately?
coach.
Yeah, no, I'm saying good coach, all that, but ultimately, what is if Andy Reid makes it to the Hall of Fame? It's going to be his times with Kansas City.
It'll be both. I think he still would have made it the Hall, even without his time at Kansas City. If he had just his time in Philadelphia, I think he makes the Hall. Why? He still had he won a Super Bowl with Favre over there in Green Bay.
That's true. That's true.
He
That's
had a
I forgot
lot of
about the far
he
he
had a
was the
lot of
OC
time over
there.
here with the Niners and in
That's true. I forgot he was the head coach
so I
with
mean,
Green Bay.
so he's got a ton of freaking time. But yeah, back to Steve Wilkes. Sorry.
Yeah,
We're
but yeah.
upset me on
Anyway,
it's not
I
I
just
don't see it as being the solve all problem answer to all of our problems. Because like I said, it doesn't make anybody tackle better. Yeah, you might be able to go to him directly. Like Fred can come off the field and talk to him, but why couldn't Fred take 3 more feet, pick up a phone, and talk to him like that? So I don't understand when they're saying that there was a huge communication breakdown between your defensive leader and your DC. I just don't get that. I'm calling BS on it, honestly.
when ultimately I feel that this would be putting him at a disadvantage because if he wanted to be on the sideline, then he would be on the sideline. Like
Mm-hmm.
we talked about with Josh on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Before this news came out. I mean, awesome. I hope it works.
Oh
But
yeah.
can we give up? This is ultimately just last thing on Josh McDaniels. This is ultimately why I'm going to give greatest coach of all time to Bill Walsh, is because can we give up on Bill Belichick's disciples, quote unquote disciples?
Yeah,
Right?
he's got
That's
terrible
not a thing, right?
disciples. Yeah.
That's like the Bill Belichick coaching tree is not going to exist like the Bill Walsh coaching tree.
No. But that means just Bill is better at knowing how to do everybody else's job around him. Like Bill doesn't seem to
Fine,
me like he's a good teacher on how to be a good coach, to where I guess,
but ultimately, Bill Belichick's impact's only going to be felt by the Patriots.
Yeah.
Bill Walsh's impact on was NFL wide.
Yeah.
And that's to be ultimately why Bill look, you could ultimately if you break it down to championships, the thing I break it down to is Tom Brady never had his back broken like Joe Montana. Joe doesn't have his back broken, and I think we're having to do anyway. Sorry, I just wanted to get that out because I feel sometimes a lot of the Niner greats, because it's been so long, and a lot of the people who have the loudest voices in media and sports nowadays, like this was their grandpas, or I mean their dad's generation, their the older brothers' generation. They don't remember shit. They probably don't even most legit young sportscasters probably don't even remember the 90s.
Yeah, they're busy
So,
playing in the 90s. A lot of these guys were playing during that time period.
well, I'm okay, touche. 90s, early 2000s. But I just feel like sometimes there's just so much recency bias with the Patriots and
Oh yeah.
Tom Brady that the Niners, people seem to not forget how the league was different, and it kind of gets brushed by just because everybody saw the Patriots dynasty. Not everybody alive today remembers the Niners dynasty.
Yeah.
Type of thing. All right, next slide, bro. My bad.
No, we're going good. So we are going to the injury reports. We can start over here with let's start with the Jaguars first. So far, it looks like the only person that's not going to be playing from their side right now is going to be wide receiver Zay Jones. Everybody else looks like they're going to be trending towards playing for the most part. So it's one less person for us to cover because he was having a pretty good year. Oh, it's Bursa. I was wearing Joe Montana to ask me who that was. Man, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Wow.
That is terrible. All right, so I mean, like I said, that's all about with theirs. It's like, Zay Jones is definitely out. Everybody else is probably going to be game time, but more than likely we'll be playing. Then you get to ours, and we have a whole bunch on there, including a bunch of names that were not on there or we did not expect to see. There was one on there that we had talked about before the show, Drake Jackson. You talked about how it just came out of nowhere, and I was like, yeah,
Out of nowhere.
kind of like last year when all of a sudden he was just on the injury report every week and then just disappeared because he was. And at the time, I could say that there was some validity to it about him not being able to go a full 17 season because I think before he'd only played like 11 games in the season his entire life.
The team came out and said as much that he ran out of gas last year.
Yeah, and I get that. To me, that's a valid one. I'm like, okay, cool. You're almost doubling your season. But now all of a sudden you're telling me we got Chase Young, Robert Beal's getting ready to come back, all this other kind of stuff, and all of a sudden Drake Jackson is now out of the game for Sunday. That's kind of weird to me.
Was giving us look, bruh. If Drake Jackson was giving us anything, we would have not traded for Chase Young. We traded for Chase Young because fuck. Gregory has been giving us more than Drake Jackson all year.
Cleveland Farrell.
Cleveland fucking Farrell. Like,
so,
I'm frustrated. I'm cussing because I was pumped when we drafted Drake Jackson.
I think we all were. We were because the way he fell down and we saw the promise. Yeah. We all saw the highlight films. And then not only that, we saw that from last year. Then we heard all the good things from this year in the offseason. Then we had the first game of the season where he had 2.5 sacks. We're like, oh, shit, look at this. And literally, can you remember a time his name was called or even seen him on the field since? Because I can't.
I literally can't remember a time that I'm like, I see you, Drake. Like, not even close to the ball, where it's like,
way to seal that hole, where to push the guy to the inside, block ball, a batted pass, nothing.
You know me, bro. I love giving to the pro. Like, I like the pick against the Raiders that sealed the game last year, right? I love giving props more to Nick Bosa for the pressure than I love to give Deshaun Gibson for the pick.
Fair.
I haven't even been able to do that. Where it's like, yeah, that play was clearly caused by Drake Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing.
So, also with this, it looks like obviously Aaron Banks is going to be out for another week or so with his turf toe. So we're going to be seeing John Feliciano, who I've heard a few people think might be a slight of an upgrade. That's to be determined. But also what's going to be, because now they don't have probable. So Trent Williams is going to be questionable, and he is a true game time decision on his, not necessarily a high ankle, not a low ankle, but a sprain in the middle. So I'm not sure how exactly you want to call that or whatever, but brings us back to Jalen Moore, who I think both of us were more on the doom and gloom side with Jalen Moore, especially after what we had seen before from him previously. And while his run blocking hasn't been exceptional, his pass blocking has been pretty good. Like, it's not all pro level, but the sky is not falling with him there. So I mean, he'd almost look like he would need time to develop more than, not as much as we had, like I said, we had expected.
I wonder how much of that was Aaron Banks.
Could be. Yeah, because
I'm a little look. I think if Feliciano had to step in with Trent next to him, I think we'd be fine. I think it'd be serviceable. If you tell me
he's got the veteran presence.
Jalen Moore and Feliciano as at protecting Brock's blind side,
it's a little bit more iffy.
Ooh, I'm a little nervous about that, bro. When Burford and Colt McKivitz haven't exactly been setting the world on fire.
I think Kinlaw had a good start to the year, especially pressures wise. Like, he wasn't getting a lot of sacks or a lot of tackles, but he was definitely getting pressure up the middle. And then kind of like Drake Jackson, he's kind of disappeared the last 3 or 4 weeks when it comes to Kinlaw.
Let's be real. it's probably not an issue where he can't go or he's able to be out there or whatever like that. But you can't tell me his knee's not wearing a tear.
It shouldn't be. He's only playing like 10, maybe 15 snaps a game. So I mean, he should definitely have less wear and tear on it this year.
I just think that, you know what I hope happens out of this year? I hope we stop chasing the ghosts of 2019.
Yeah. Let Defoe go. Get somebody else. Let's move on to the next one.
No, but like when I say chasing the ghosts of 2019 is to, and I don't want to say not invest in the secondary, because let's be real, they gave Charvarius Ward a pretty fat contract.
They did.
So I don't want to say that they completely ignored, but mostly I think our issues from defense come from this. And this team is clearly built as a pass rush first team. But when the pass rush doesn't get home, I think it's easy to expose our secondary. It's we can let Jimmy Ward go because we got Javon Hargrave, and issue is going to be a nickel. Yeah, but when your secondary isn't getting home, then yeah, nickel is an issue. What's the earliest corner we've taken in this third rounder? And that was a Khalil Witherspoon.
Thank you, BC. We'll be seeing you shortly.
Thanks, brother. So yeah, I mean, this is not a healthy out of the bye week team, Jason.
No, it's not. But also, it's a little bit longer because of, we've got Robert Beal on there. We've got Darrell Luter. We've got Sammy Womack. So those are three guys whose practice windows are now open, who previously didn't have to be on the injury report. So it is a little bit longer. One on there I didn't expect to see was Demetrius Flanagan-Foles, and then Javon Hargraves. I don't remember seeing anything with them coming out of the last game, especially with the week off. So
that's definitely a little issue. This game, it's got me a little nervous, bro.
It does. I agree.
And I hate this because it's gonna feel worse because of the 3-game losing streak that's piled on top of this. You know what I'm saying? That it's gonna make it feel worse than hey, we just lost to an AFC South team. This doesn't mean shit in the grand scheme of the season, but ultimately it's a loss when we could have gained a game on Philadelphia. It's a loss when we could have buried the Yams one game, behind us.
Yeah.
Because I feel the Seahawks, we're either going to bury them, here within the next couple weeks, because we sweep them. We
2 weeks till Thanksgiving, buddy.
I mean, we beat them in that 3 weeks stretch. I don't see them winning the division at that point, because then you're 2 games behind us, right? Like, even if we're tied, you're essentially 3 games behind us with 3 left to play.
Yeah.
So we've got to lose all 3 games, and you've got to win all 3 games, and then fine, you will be a game above us. So we essentially win 1 more game, and you're done. So we can't beat the Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Niners can't beat the Cardinals to win the division. Yeah, hit me up, Jake, and we'll go ahead and arrange it. We don't like to really, no offense, brother, but we got to vet people. We can't just let anybody random come up on the show. But yeah, definitely hit us up on social media, and we'll talk about it, bro.
Yeah. I'm not sure who you are, Jake, but thank you for joining, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so we go to the coaching staff of the Jaguars. We've got head coach Doug Peterson, who has been relatively successful in his time in the NFL. 62-50-1 total as a head coach. Obviously won the Super Bowl in 2017 with the Eagles against those Tom Brady Patriots. Their offensive coordinator is Press Taylor, and then their DC is Mike Caldwell, who I want to say was a head coach before at some point.
Sounds like he was. Like the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, like I said, I think they have a really solid coaching staff overall. Especially like I said, Doug Peterson is a better coach than he gets credit for. Especially like I said, one with the Eagles, and then now with getting the turnaround for the Jags.
He seems like the type of coach that you're the type of coach that you know that there's better out there, but you know you could do a lot worse. So you're kind of like, I don't want to say stuck with, but you kind of keep around because it's like, yeah, but we could, like Jacksonville. He might be the coach of Jacksonville for 15 years. Because it's like, yeah, can we get better than Doug Peterson? Yeah, but we're the Jags. Do we really want to screw this up? Like, this is the best coach in franchise history.
I don't know. They had what's his name when they first started. Can't think of his name. The old guy that also coached the Giants to the Super Bowl. Fuck, what is his name?
Bill Parcells?
No. The old guy. The guy who was fired from the Giants like 4 or 5 years ago and still showed up for like a week or two after he was fired to work out every morning. I can't.
Tom Coughlin?
Yes, Coughlin.
Yeah, but Mark Brunell was a decent quarterback.
Yeah, Mark Brunell was a damn good quarterback for them.
Like, they could have definitely got a worse quarterback to start off their franchise with.
Yeah, he was a really good to start off their franchise with. All right, so we go to their offense, which their offense is clicking pretty damn good right now. They're getting 24 points per game, averaging 357. Trevor Lawrence is just playing his ass off. Got 1935 passing yards, a good ratio with 9 TDs, 4 interceptions. Travis Etienne, 7 touchdowns, 580. Christian Kirk, someone we know all well about from his time with the Cardinals. He's leading them with 520 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. So they have a very well-rounded offense, and like I said, this Lawrence has them just, he's more mobile than what you would expect him to be. And I've seen him take some punishment. I mean, he's not afraid to run and get a first down. Almost like a cheap version of a Josh Allen, if you will.
What worries me is if he has time, he's going to shred us, bro.
Oh, he gets the ball out ridiculously quick.
Like, if we can't knock him off the spot, and like, I'm not talking about pressures. Like, I'll even take quarterback hits, but like, because they have a receiving core, they have a running back, and this defense has been exposed the last several weeks.
And one person I didn't even put up on here, one of their best players is their tight end, Evan Ingram. He is an amazing tight end that hardly anybody talks about. And he is he's Trevor Lawrence's escape valve. Basically, he's what Kittle was to, both Purdy, Brock, anybody else. Like I said, so not many people talk about Evan Ingram as far as being a top tight end. But to me, he's probably at least a top 5 tight end in the league right now.
We're going to try to keep the ball, keep their offense off the field. So this is going to be you know what, Jason? We won't do it yet. We'll do it at the end. But I like your final score because I feel like this is going to be a very Cleveland type of game, or a very Bengals type of game in the sense that our defense was getting shredded. But ultimately, they made stops necessary towards the end of the game where we had the opportunity to win that ball game.
Yeah.
And I think this is how it's going to get. Our defense is going to give up points. They're going to give up yards. We might even be behind 9, 10, 11 points in this game. But I think where we have to point the finger to this defense until we can figure it out, or Chase Young makes the impact that he's ultimately going to make, or whatever, is I just need the key stops. You're not the 2021. You're not the 2022. You're not the 2019 Niners, okay? You're not going to be on pace for historical lows. You're not going to give up less than 17 points, 13 points a game. Like, let's get rid of these expectations from this defense until we see anything that resembles that. Consistently.
Their
I
offensive
just need
line
this
is.
defense.
Oh, go ahead.
I just need this defense. I need Fred Warner. I need fucking Dre Greenlaw. I need Nick Bosa. I need you to make plays when it's crunch time. That's what I need from this defense. And
so their offensive line is pretty suspect, especially on the edges. But like I was saying earlier, Trevor Lawrence is one of the best in the league at getting the ball out really quickly. So we can get some pressure on him. We've just got to be able to cover the receivers that they have long enough for that pressure to get to him.
I mean, Nick Bosa was whooping the ass of that tackle in Cleveland. But how much did it really matter, Jason?
No, he didn't. He didn't. Did he have a sack against that?
No, I don't believe he had a sack in Cleveland.
No.
So that's all fine and dandy. Shit, there were several times that Joe Burrow was sacked 3 times last week.
If not, he should have been sacked about 6 times with how many that we missed.
He was sacked 3 times last week. The first play, I believe, after that Brock Baby Zone pick was a sack by Eric Armstead, I believe. So I need the defense to come up to the plays when it's necessary, in crunch time. And I need the offense. It's simple. I think this will solve a lot of our issues on offense. Don't kill ourselves. That's it. Yeah. If we don't kill ourselves and come up with the few stops when necessary on defense, I think we could win this ball game. If not, then yeah, we're going to have some issues. And I think it's as simple as that.
All right, then we move to their defense, who is 13th overall. They only give up 19.5 points per game and 343 yards per game. So, I mean, we all know who Josh Allen is. Josh Allen is he's a force. He's their Fred Warner at linebacker, probably closer to more like a Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah.
He just, like I said, no, he's everywhere. He does everything. Right now, their defense is led in tackles. Look at that. Foyesade Olukun. If I butchered that, I'm completely sorry, my dude. 92 tackles. This man is everywhere. So he's just everywhere all over the field. Darius Williams has 3 picks this year. He has one of the absolute lowest completion rates. I want to say it's like 48.6% completion rating against him. So again, and they get good pressure, all over the place. So these guys can fly around. Very good on defense, just like we are.
I mean, it's looking a little bit like, because it's like we're not going to score on every drive against them. I mean, I know I saw your final score. I think it might be a little difficult to get that. I think this might be a 24-27 type of game, like maybe 21. I mean, 24. I mean, this offense who just scored 17 points 3 weeks in a row. I mean, I think it's a little bit much to expect that we're going to go from 17 points back to 42 to 30, all that. I
will explain why I think we're going to get higher than that when we get to our final predictions.
Okay, cool. Well, roll it. I just think that this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. All right, fantasy football.
Yeah, fantasy football. These are the numbers that are coming in. It's pretty much, the standard numbers for across the board. And like I was saying, look at Evan Ingram down here, 13.89. Pretty good for, I mean, I know it's, Kittle's not too far behind. Yeah. So tight ends in this game, I think, are going to be extremely important, because if there is a spot where you can get these teams, it's going to be, down over the middle to where you can attack them to stretch them out a little bit more.
Honestly, if I'm there, I try to put Christian Kirk against Isaiah Oliver all day, every day.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. If you got that option to use motion of some way to get him into that. I was going to show this one real quick for the $1,000 league.
Yeah.
Bam! Look who was in second place.
Yeah.
The Purdy Mouse.
Pretty mouse.
I'm actually doing a lot better in this league than I thought I was going to do this year.
Only
All right.
only 2 behind the lead, so that ain't too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. Like I said, with some of the injuries that I've had and the way some of these games have been played this year, I was like, this is not going to be a good year for me in this league, but I might have a chance of winning this one. All right. So betting wise, it's pretty much an even game for the most part. It's pretty much a toss up. The over under is 44.5. Who are you taking? You going to taking the over or the under?
I'll take the over. I'll take the over because if you tell me one team scores 23 and one scores 22,
Yeah, you're pretty
that's
much there.
the over right there.
Yep.
And yeah, I could definitely see that. Take
I'm
the
also
Niners.
taking the over.
What are you gonna do? Jags +3 or Niners -3?
We have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Niner Sickness Podcast, Mr. Beto. How's it
Mr.
doing,
Beto
brother?
himself. How you doing, bro?
How you doing, dude? Thank you for showing up. One of the ones I'm definitely going to be putting money on is the CMC touchdown. He's got to get his touchdown and break the record.
Yeah. But are you taking the Niners -3 or the Jags +3?
I'm going to take the Niners -3.
Yeah, I believe either we win outright or I don't think they blow us out.
Yeah.
Prop bets, CMC touchdown, you got to take that.
That's almost a have to
touchdown
every week now. Yeah,
Debo
coming back.
I would take that. I would totally take a Debo touchdown. Over under sacks.
Yeah, how many sacks with this defense? Let's be honest, this defense is legit. And especially if you have Trent Williams not playing, and then Feliciano also on that side, you got to think that they're going to come after Brock and get to him. Thank you very much, Beto. We appreciate it, brother. Also, if anybody doesn't know, Beto runs one of the greatest channels here on YouTube for obviously the Niner Sickness Podcast. Please make sure to jump over to his channel and like and sub that as well.
Yes, definitely like and sub. So what are you putting the over under? 3 sacks?
Yeah, I got 3. I'm going with 3.
Yeah, I'll go 3.5, 4.
Actually, you know what? I said that wrong. My bad. So how many sacks do you think we are going to get on Jacksonville for this side? My bad. I jumped ahead on this one. I'm thinking 3 for each side, honestly. I'm
gonna say 5. I'm gonna say 5. Ooh. And I would love 5 because if you tell me the Niners get 5 sacks, I tell you we win.
Well, yeah, I think if you get 5 sacks in any game, your chances of winning are probably at least 75.
So I definitely like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna say 5. Is it gonna happen? Probably not.
I don't know. Like I said,
I wouldn't put money on it. I would not.
Their
put
offensive
money on
line is hella suspect. Now we got Chase Young coming up.
I've heard that all year, bro. I've heard all year how this line is Bosa's whooping the shit out of this tackle. Oh, the Hargrave digger and all this shit I've heard all year. What does it matter?
Fair enough. All right, so Trevor Lawrence over under 275 passing. I'm going to take the over.
Over.
All right, yeah, NTN 75. You can take NTN over for the 75 rushing?
Over, yeah.
I'm taking him. And then how many sacks do you think they get on Purdy? This is the one I was going for 3 on this one. I think they get 3 on Purdy.
I'm going to go none, nigga. No.
You can even variable this. Like, do you want to give a number with Trent Williams and without a Trent Williams out
Trent,
there?
With Trent, it's got to be 1 or 2. Without Trent,
it's a free for all almost.
I mean, fuck. That left side of the line, bro. That's pretty damn suspect.
Okay, and I'm gonna throw a caveat.
So with Trent, I'll say 2.
2.
Without Trent, I'm gonna say 3 like you. I'm gonna say 3 or 4. Do both of you know Chase
Nope.
Young's nickname? My bad, bro.
No, I actually
know
don't
I
know
do
Chase.
not. Please tell us, John.
Yeah, I don't know Chase Young's nickname, to be honest with you. All right. So going into the final score for this game, I have it at 30-27. And the reason why I have us scoring this high, and granted, this is with both Trent Williams coming back and a full, healthy Debo back in the lineup. Now, if you tell me that Trent's not playing, I'm not sure what I put this score at today. John says it was in your podcast today. I have not watched your podcast because you were streaming it while I was at work.
Ditto.
So if Trent is not playing,
Trent is not Williams.
Yeah, if Trent is not Williams. I don't know what I put this, but this for me is we've had a week. Everybody's clearing their head. Kyle's back into his full bag of tricks as far as the offense goes. The defense, I still think it's going to be a close one, but, it's still the Jags. They've still got a really good offense going on. So I think they can still definitely put up points against us. But, yeah, we pull out the win in a very close game.
See, this is where I see, I see this being a Jimmy-like game, like a Jimmy game where we have an opportunity to put the game away.
Mm-hmm.
They stop us, and the defense has to come up with a couple plays at the end to seal the 27-30 win. I could definitely see this ball game going up. All right, brothers, that's pretty much a wrap.
That's everything, folks. Good shit.
Good show.
Obviously, on Sunday,
Predator.
TJ will be. Oh yeah, duh. God, I feel stupid for not even knowing that one. Honestly, and he's like, "Oh, the Predator." Now I feel dumb. I knew that. I fucking should have known that shit. Just look at the man. He's got the dreads and everything.
Yeah.
So TJ will be going. Oh, Teresa.
Thank y'all so much, everybody in the chat. You too, Miss Teresa.
She'll post the answer.
Safe.
All right. I still think it's going to be that was the Armistice Day from World War I. I think TJ, you said 2.
Yeah, I think it's 2. Teresa, please tell us. Oh, I'll post the show and question in the group. Okay, for sure. Looking forward.
Fair
to
enough.
That.
So TJ, Saturday morning, what time? Sunday morning, what time are you gonna be doing pregame?
I think we said 8:30. 8:30.
8:30. I will be going live at halftime. Jamie, is she working Sunday?
I just said Jamie will do the post game Sunday night.
Yeah,
that's just how I do it.
No, me, I'm probably because I don't usually do the post game. I'm probably gonna be. I might be jumping between channels depending on that time, but definitely. My computer's gone to shit, which is the reason why I haven't been doing the Madden shows. That's the reason why. Like, for some reason, it's really struggling streaming it, so I haven't been doing. I don't understand why. So what I might do on Saturday, if I can set it up, is I might stream it directly from my Xbox to Twitch, which I know sucks. But maybe I can share it from Twitch to the actual Facebook page, and we can views that way. I just got to find the time to do it because I got a bunch of stuff to do between this weekend, next weekend.
I'm booked all Saturday, and oh god, it's crazy for you, boy. All right,
yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff to get ready for Thanksgiving already. Because next weekend, don't expect anything out of me out of next Saturday because we are going to go see the new Hunger Games movie. And then I think we're going to watch that movie and then come home and watch the rest of the Hunger Game movies to see how the story goes.
Okay.
But sounds good. Sorry, man.
Yep. All right, bro. Before we get up out of here, please make sure to help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our Shop 49ers affiliate link. Link will be in the description of this video or podcast. Go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. To see everywhere you could subscribe to the show, go ahead and visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio, and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. And of course, the promo code for this week's 20% off of For the Faithful, By the Faithful Season 3 apparel is End the Streak. Very simple. All right, Jason. We'll see you halftime.
Yep, definitely.
Take care, everybody. Happy Veterans Day, of course.
Yep.
All right, ready whenever
Deuces.
you are.
One love.
Yeah.